What's up, everybody? Listen, before we get this podcast started, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for the support you've been showing us and the podcast. Please take the time to hit the subscribe button, and if you really like it, leave a review and share it with your buddies, your pals, your amigos, your muchachos. Go ahead and share it. Thank you very much for all the support. Right, Shawn?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Wow, way to be enthusiastic. So, please share, subscribe, give us a follow. Follow Shawn at Gorilla Boy BJJ. Follow me at Sonder Marketing, and follow the podcast on Instagram, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever the hell you get your podcast stuff from. This podcast is brought to you by the lovely, the sexy, the always delicious Chocoloha.
Delicious?
It's delicious. If it's got flavor,
Eat that shit. That shit delicious.
Check out chocoloha.com. Use the promo code Jiu-Jitsu Radio. Get 20% off. This is the best part.
Okay.
Inadvertently, I got made fun of for my howly pronunciation of where Chocoloha got started, so I'm going to say it wrong every time just out of hilariousness now. Chocoloha is a homegrown brand originally based out of Kauai, Hawaii, sharing the aloha for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu through premium quality accessories and apparel. Aloha literally translates as the joyful sharing of life energy in the present. Chocoloha is a brand that merges the two, reminding those to always roll with aloha and share aloha wherever you go in the local style Hawaiian way. Spread Chocoloha wherever you go. Always roll with Chocoloha. Respect everyone, especially your training partners, always, except for Shawn. Don't ever respect Shawn. Check out chocoloha.com. Also, check out jujitsusoapco.com. Use the promo code JJRadio. Get 10% off. Jiu-Jitsu Soap Co. is not made in a large factory. It's not a big old fancy boardroom with a bunch of nerdy people who have never even probably rolled. It's a legit small home-based company, and they really made this because of their love for Jiu-Jitsu, and they needed a product that met their needs.
Are you sure it's not their love of soap?
It could be. Maybe it's both.
Maybe they really love soap.
It's like that kid that really loves candles. Remember that kid?
No.
Oh, I got to show you that video. Anyway, whether you're a professional MMA fighter or casual gym goer, the Jiu-Jitsu Soap Company has a product for you. Check out the bath bombs. Get a couple of patches. I actually really love the samurai patch. It's actually my favorite patch.
I haven't seen it. Thanks for showing it to me.
No problem.
You're
I do what I
such a
can.
prick.
I'm too fast for you. Too fast. Too pretty. Check out Jiu-Jitsu Soap Co. Use the promo code JJRadio. Also, check out giraffechoke.com. Use the promo code JJRadio. Get 20% off on your orders of $50 or more. The purpose of Giraffe Choke was to build a brand which expresses the fun and camaraderie that exists in martial arts. We have fun, but are we comrades? Are we commie comrades?
I don't know.
You look kind of
Tovarich.
It's not about puffing your chest or walking aggressively and me mugging others. Unless you're holding in a dookie while you're walking off the mats, then you gotta.
That's something we're going to talk about in a minute. I'll tell you something.
Oh, I got stories? Cool.
Not
but
stories, but
check out giraffechoke.com. Use the promo code JJRadio. They are a positive company, and it's run by a good friend of mine who we're actually trying to get onto the podcast whenever he can fit us in his fancy rock and roll lifestyle between making big deals and traveling the world just to go to jiu-jitsu gyms. I know he's listening to this part too, so I can't wait to hear him like bust my balls for this. So check out giraffechoke.com. Use the promo code JJRadio. And last but not least, the newest sponsor, Monstros Brand. Check out monstrosbrand.com. Where the heck is my awesome shirt that I've been waiting for?
Dude, what do I know? I don't know.
nothing.
I'm not at his warehouse. I just reach out to him.
Use the promo code JJCast15. Monstros Brand is an outfitter for the monsters out there on the mats and in the gym. Again, on the mat. If you just look like a monster because you're ugly, that's a totally different thing. We're not your niche.
Why are you talking about Tom Sparrow?
Oh, why would you use this last name?
I don't know.
Way to go, Dick. Too often are people of size overlooked and left wanting great gear, and we're here to help. Our great gear is meant to add a layer of confidence to those needing a push or just to look good doing what you do. But if you're plus size and you're adding a layer, that's probably a problem. I should play that little sound clip from Shrek. It's like, ogres have layers. Check out all our awesome sponsors. If you want to support the podcast, please check out some of my artwork. Go to mycosmicjourney.com. You can see a lot of my photos. I got a couple of photo shoots coming up, so it'll be updated. Follow Shawn on Instagram, sometimes Twitter, whenever he feels lonely and he jumps on there. Follow me. Let's get this party started.
You kidding me, Bob?
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff.
Get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine right, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
Welcome to the gassy episode.
Welcome to the gassy episode. Man, it's not as bad as last time. Last time it was coming out of both ends. This time it's...
It literally has been coming out of both ends since you've walked in this room.
I'll cheers to that. Cheers. There we go. Got my drink. Let's get this party started. We don't have that much news to start off this week. A couple of people that announced their entrance to the no-gi worlds, but it sounded like you had another story that you wanted to start off
Not
with.
so much a story, but something we've talked about. We've talked about one of our favorite things to do is watch McDojo Life. Mm-hmm. Shout out to McDojo Life.
They are awesome, and they also actually have one of my favorite bars of soap with jiu-jitsu soap.
Yeah, yeah.
They're cool people.
Cool people. But one of our favorite things is to talk about black belts that or
Fake black belts
or really impractical martial arts. But there's also something else that I love to see, and one of my favorite pages to follow on Instagram is Gym Fuckery.
Great channel.
Gym Fuckery, for those that don't know, is an Instagram page or whatever you would call it. Channel.
Yeah.
And basically it shows people working out.
Or trying to
work out in either weird ways or they get fucked up. Trying to do, squats and get slammed on their face because the weight's too heavy.
Or trying to do stupid shit because they saw it on another Instagram.
Like that. I don't know if you've ever watched Juju Mufu or something like that. Juji Mufu. Dude is a fucking beast.
Right.
He does all kinds of shit that is amazing with I've seen him deadlift 500 pounds wearing roller skates and shit like that.
That guy with the long hair.
Long hair, yeah.
He's the one that tied himself up with all the
bands.
Yeah.
And I've seen fuckers doing that.
Yeah.
But anyways, one of my favorite things to watch are the guys that have invisible lat syndrome.
Oh, the ones that
really flare out their arms. That walk that they, or the Conor McGregor.
He's got lats though.
Yeah, but not he flares them out and he does that walk. But these people flare them out and walk like that.
Yeah.
In general, and we used to call it invisible luggage.
Oh, they're carrying invisible luggage.
They're carrying invisible luggage under their arms. But there's been this dude that they've been posting on there, and everywhere he's gone. The fair, a few different places, different outfits. Dude's got his lats flared.
Right.
Dude might be 190 pounds. Mm. But
is this on purpose or as a joke?
I don't know. That's the whole thing, is I can't tell if it's but if you see the woman he's with, it kind of makes me think it's for real.
Right.
But it's one of those things that's always amazed me is the people coming from the gym world, because that's where I was most of my life.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, not a bodybuilding world, but
the
gym world.
Being a creep in the parking lot of the gym does not make you a part of the gym.
No. I came from the gym world. I've been working out since I was 16. So I've been a part of that gym world for decades. But coming from that, wanting to be and wanting to look to be the biggest dude out there.
Without actually being the biggest dude.
Well, it's not even that. It's funny what has happened by the journey of jiu-jitsu, where I look at those people now.
Right.
If you look at those people, 15, 20 years ago, and you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, you look at them and you go, dude, I want to fuck with that guy.
Yeah, now you're like,
oh.
I got a 10-year-old girl back at the gym that could beat the crap out of him.
I just love to get my hands around that dude.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem, though.
I bet you.
Some of these guys are fucking strong.
You're right.
So like, you gotta watch out. They might fucking yoke you up and fucking chuck you like 18 feet.
Right.
But at the same time, after about 14 seconds, they won't be able to breathe.
They're done. Yeah.
They're done.
They're a 2-pump chump.
Yeah, it used to be. It's coming from the wrestling world. Also, we used to have a saying. We're all show and no go.
Yeah.
that was our thing. It's all about how we look. We don't have to really fight out there.
What is it? It's for show, not for go.
Yeah. So, but it's funny how now it's like I see as the ideal physique.
Right.
Has totally changed.
For sure. But I mean, that's all the way around, no matter what.
Well,
what industry.
no, but I'm saying like the people who I looked up to, obviously growing up in the 80s, the Arnolds, the Sylvester Stallones, Jean-Claude Van Damme's, these guys were like, and now thinking back, now looking at it, is like, well, Jean-Claude was probably the most
bitch.
No, but
next to Steven Seagal.
He had the most practical physique.
Right.
So it's like that, like you would think Arnold's big, he'd kill you.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, looking back at it now, you can see if you put those people in a room together.
Sylvester Stallone would probably be the most likely to get out alive.
Yeah, unless you put Dolph Lundgren in there.
Dolph is legit.
He's like a 12th Dan black belt and
he's a legit Renaissance man.
And then he's got a doctorate in I want to say
mathematics. It's got to be.
No. It's something like
I'll tell you right now while you speak.
I want to say it's like something like particle physics or some kind of bioengineering or something like that. But he's got a doctorate in it. Dude's but he's a badass. Did you ever hear that story about Arnold or about Rocky IV, where he punched Stallone so hard in the chest that he bruised his heart and had to stop filming for like a week?
No.
True story. And Sylvester Stallone, I've heard him actually tell the story.
Right.
But dude was just punched him in the chest, and he was out of commission for 4 or 5 days, something like that. They couldn't film for like a week.
I believe it. I think if I'm reading this right, he has a master's in science. Let's see if I can find the exact same thing, because it's kind of weird the way that it's written out. But Dolph Lundgren, you ever see the video of him? He was doing like some kind of variety show, and it's like 15 minutes of just him singing, dancing, playing like every instrument, and then like just breaking bricks and stuff like that. He's doing like everything that he could possibly do. He's just doing it all at once on stage. You haven't seen that?
No.
I gotta find that.
Was it probably a Japanese show?
No. It was a European show.
European. Well, where did he come from? Dolph Lundgren, I think, came from Sweden. He's Swedish.
Yeah. Let's see. Dolph Lundgren degrees. He graduated with a master's degree in chemical engineering.
Yeah. I knew it was something crazy like that. Not a doctorate, so I was wrong.
Yeah, and scholarship.
But still, a master's.
Yeah.
In chemical engineering.
Yeah, I think it said he got a scholarship to MIT. So
he's smart. He's huge. He can whoop your ass. Apparently, he can sing and dance.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good on that show.
Dude might be the most alpha male ever.
I don't think he'd be the most alpha male.
Who would you put more alpha above him? He's like 6'6".
Arnold was as alpha as you can be. Like,
no, I'm talking about true alpha.
You're talking about
you put Arnold
Renaissance man over Renaissance men.
You put Arnold and you put Dolph Lundgren in a room. Who's walking out alive?
Probably Arnold. Arnold's got those.
You really think so?
Yeah, Arnold's got those Kennedy connections. He'll get him shot.
No, I'm not talking.
He'll get him shot.
I'm
He's got
saying
the political stuff.
That's not what I mean. You put two men in a room. It's like the battle. You put them in. What was it in?
I think that Arnold.
What was it in Road Warrior 2? Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Put them in the Thunderdome.
Mad Max.
Who's walking out?
One or two shall enter. One shall leave. Yeah. You don't watch Rick and Morty, right?
No.
You have to watch Rick and Morty because
do they have a Master Blaster?
Yeah, they have an episode that basically is like Mad Max and like Thunderdome and stuff like that. It's pretty fucking good. It's fucking hilarious. So you gotta watch that episode alone is worth every minute.
Dude, I liked what I watched. It's just I should probably record it or something.
No, yeah, I have all 3 seasons. The 4th one, yeah, no, all 3. You have to watch it because it's really fucking good. But it's one of those shows you can watch every episode individually, but to get the most out of like the episode you're watching, you have to watch all the other ones because there's so many little things that are continuation.
That carry on.
Yeah, like there's one episode where he just throws like a notebook into a portal, and that's it. You don't think about it, but then a season later, they're running away from somebody, and there's like a portal that opens up, and you see the notebook come falling through.
I watched something that made me laugh. Was the courtroom? Where they took the actual
the transcripts of what
actual
happened.
Transcripts of what happened. That was the funniest shit, dude.
It's like kangaroo court.
Kangaroo court.
Put that on the.
Suck my dick.
I'll put that on the beginning of the intro. I think I gotta make a new intro. Definitely throw some Rick and Morty's like suck my dick.
But back to that. It's like it's funny what has evolved due to I think mainly the UFC. What is seen now as the ideal male physique. Look at remember when after DC won the belt and they said this is what the ultimate male body looks like.
Well, look at what's his face, Roy Nelson. Every time Dana White talks so much shit about Roy Nelson, but he would still just knock people out.
The fuck out.
And he's a legit badass fucking jiu-jitsu black belt.
The only time I ever seen him use it was against Andrei Arlovsky.
Dude, there's a whole match.
No. I'm talking about in MMA.
Yeah, no, he's done it a couple other times.
Yeah, but it's where I've seen him really fucking put it on was the second round of. It was back in Strikeforce. Yeah. And it was the second round of the fight, or no, it was the first round, and Roy just fucking schooled him on the ground.
Yeah. Have you seen that match between him and Frank Mir?
Yeah.
That's like a 10 minutes or something like that, 10, 15 minutes, where you can say like...
Frank Mir won that, though.
No.
You sure?
Did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Roy won it. Double check it. I'm pretty sure.
I ain't checking shit.
I'll look it up. Sorry.
What's going on? What do you mean you'll look it up? What happened to we don't check facts?
No, I check them. I just don't care about them.
Oh, okay. That's...
I have this really stupid... I guess it's almost like my OCD that I have to always double check the information. I love useless information for whatever fucking reason. It irks me until I find out, okay, that's what it is. So, like, even after we have our conversations, after the fact, I'll go and double check it. Doesn't mean I'll fucking remember it, but I will go double check it just because it's one of those things that I have to look for. Like, when you hear a voice and say, like, a cartoon or an animated movie, you're like, I fucking know who that is. Who is that?
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to hunt it down. You got to go
hunt it down. I fucking knew it. I knew that voice.
You got to go
many times.
You got to go down the IMDb hole.
I just go to Wiki.
No, you're right. Frank Mir won that in round 3. Oh, no, that's a UFC fight. Never mind. Let me scroll that up. So last time, before I get into this, last time you said you had a story to tell me about... Yeah, see, Roy Nelson beats Frank Mir at Grappler's Quest 2003. Boom, son. See? I'm not that messed up. About the guy that copywrote... or trademarked Aloha.
Oh, okay.
So tell me what happened.
Let's get into that. So I follow a few. So it's no secret that. It might be something new to the listeners of Jiu-Jitsu Radio, but I love surfing. I watch surfing. I like to surf, and by surf I mean paddleboard surf because I haven't really picked up the subtleties of true surfing yet, and you can say whatever you want, but fuck you. That's what I can do. But I love surfing, in all its forms. I can do one of them.
Well, still better than me. I still got to practice.
So, of course, one of my dream destinations is Hawaii.
Kauai.
And so I follow some people out there. Like one of them is Dahui, which is that's the original one of the original like surf clubs that they parodied in North Shore, But the Hui is like they used to wear the black shorts. There was all kinds of shit about them.
Right.
They were like the surf police. And but on that page, I saw this video. This guy talking about this restaurateur and entrepreneur in Chicago opened up a place in Chicago called Aloha Poke Bowls.
Right.
This dude then has his lawyer send a cease and desist letter to anybody using the word aloha in their name in Hawaii. So he copywrote the right to
use it.
To use it.
Right.
He copywrote aloha, which means nobody can use aloha in their name.
Right.
Or whatever. So he sent all these businesses that had the name Aloha in their business got a cease and desist letter. Which
can you stop texting?
In a second. Which is fucking nuts. You're a white dude. Now, far be it from me to be a social justice warrior. I don't like it. I don't like when people start naming names and like labeling people and whatever. But it is. Dude's a white dude that lives in fucking Chicago.
Yeah.
And he sent out cease and desist letters to Hawaiians, people of Hawaiian descent, that they could no longer use aloha. I would like to ask if our friends at Chokaloha got a fucking letter from this motherfucker.
So let me stop you right there, because I found a news article that talks about it, and come on, stupid ads. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs response to Aloha Poke trademark. They make this whole statement saying that they're offended, and the company Aloha Poke Co., which the one is that you're talking about, wrote this statement on July 30. Over the past 48 hours, a significant amount of misinformation about Aloha Poke Co. has been shared on social media. We know that this misinformation has caused a considerable amount of anger and offense among those who care very passionately about their Hawaiian culture. First, we want to say to them directly how deeply sorry we are that this issue has been so triggering. That's a kind of a dick thing to say. Blah, blah, blah. Avoid concerns. Perhaps the most important issue that needs to be set straight is the false assertion that Aloha Poke Co. has attempted to own either the word aloha or the word poke. Neither is true, and we would never attempt to do so, not ever. We will explain more about this below. There's zero truth to the assertion that we have attempted to tell Hawaiian-owned businesses and Hawaiian natives that they cannot use the word aloha or the word poke. This has simply not happened, nor will it happen. So you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Well, this is what the release is.
I didn't say how am I wrong when that is what I...
That's what you read. That's what your truth.
I read.
That's your truthiness.
That he didn't say that they didn't send out cease and desist letters to people that had...
that's what I just read.
No, he didn't say they didn't send it out. What did they say?
Oh, man.
Did they say nobody received a cease and desist letter?
Let me tell you once again. Third, it is entirely false that we have either sued businesses for using the word aloha or the word poke or sought a gag order on anyone for using the words. We honestly do not know how either claim came to be, but this is simply not true. What we have done is attempted to stop trademark infringers in the restaurant industry from using the trademark Aloha Poke without permission, which is understandable. Because if your company is named that, then you can stop them, people within the restaurant industry. But again, if that's the name of your bowl, you can have the name of the bowl. If that's the name of the t-shirt company, that's the name of the t-shirt company. You can still do it.
Yeah, but what happens if your place is Aloha food items
Yeah, I mean,
And you serve pokey.
to this point, the company holds 2 federal trademarks for its design, logo, and the words Aloha Poke for use in connection with restaurants, catering, and takeout services. This means that the company has the exclusive right to use those words together in connection with restaurant services within the U.S. This trademark does not prevent another person or entity from using the word Aloha alone or the word Poke alone in any instance.
But that's what if there's already an Aloha Poke in Hawaii?
Well, in that case, if you have proof that your product came out before then technically you have the right to continue using it, depending on how good his lawyer is. And this is from my small amount of experience of doing trademarks and copyrights and stuff like that. So, for example, like you said, if I have been doing Aloha Poke forever, but then you come out and you finally have the money to trademark anything, I still can technically do it because I have all the proof that came out before, unless you really just decide to go all out and fuck me over. For example, Audioslave. Remember Audioslave? Mm-hmm. They had the name for the band, and they had, 2 albums? They put out 2 albums, and it was kind of halfway through the second album where the original band Audioslave came around and said, hey, that's our name, you can't use it. And there was a whole legal battle and things like that, so they had to pay them off and buy the rights.
I didn't know there was another band called Audioslave. I wonder if the words were separated.
No, the band was called Audioslave.
One word?
Yeah, one full word. So it can easily be said like, hey, you stole our word, and like, it happens where 2 people think the same thing. It kind of happens.
Dude, there's no original idea under the sun.
That's not true.
No, there's not.
For sure there is.
People have thought of
Pop
shit
sockets
before.
are brand new.
Doesn't mean, yeah, I understand that, but it's nothing but a kickstand.
Right.
It's really not a new idea. I'm saying there's nothing new. There's a new application for
there's new versions
existing
of old things.
technology, but there's nothing new that's going to happen. There will just be new incarnations of it.
Yeah. I mean, you are walking a slippery slope when you're trying to do that, saying that, oh, anybody that has Aloha Poke words together can't do it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're taking 2 words that are probably commonly used very close to each other.
And the Hawaiians were pissed.
I don't blame them.
The good news, the good thing about it is I finally learned what it's not haole. It's haole,
right?
And what that actually means. And
It's white ghost or something.
Nope.
Iquinsuocha.
No, what it means is no breath. You have no life.
Oh yeah.
Which I think, when you think about it, I'd rather be called a fucking Barney, or anything else. But being called a Howley,
Calling you no life.
is calling you no life. That's.
Have you ever seen that episode of South Park where Butters has to go do his rights to manhood,
No.
coming to age in Hawaii? It's like that. It just shows a bunch of white people saying that they're locals just because they've been there for 8 months. Yeah, it's pretty funny. You got to watch it. Butters is hands down the best character in South Park.
I agree.
He's definitely. Have you ever played the game?
No.
Yeah, you got to play the game. The hell is it? The original one? I forget what it's called. Oh, the Stick of Truth. You have to play that one. I just started playing the Cracked Butthole game. It's Cracked Butt Hole. Butt Hole. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I think the guy probably was trying to get away with it, and then he got called out.
Yeah, he got called out.
Covering his ass for
Probably
sure.
wasn't expecting the entire island of the islands of Hawaii.
And it looks like everybody made out pretty good on the hurricane.
Yeah, there was some flooding.
Yeah, but
There was definitely some flooding. It's funny. Ever since I started surfing, how much more I pay attention to what goes on in Hawaii.
Speaking of which, though, can I just sit there and say how much I fucking hate weather people and
'Cause they're wrong?
Because they're so full of shit. At one point in time, you just have to finally admit to the fact that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you're just kind of bullshitting. You have to just say it. Now they're going as far as coming up with new words to kind of describe not really a tropical storm and not really a hurricane, this in-between thing. I forget the name that they fucking used it the other day. But it's such a scare word that they're trying to hype up.
Well, that's what it is, dude. It's like
Like, hold on. Let's talk about the fact that all of a sudden there was a tropical storm that came up out of fucking nowhere, and they had no way of telling us that it was about to happen.
Well,
it just suddenly.
How about the fact that nobody in Florida batted an eyelash? We woke up to a tropical storm, and it was like, it's Florida.
Whatever. I just thought it was just another fucking
It's just
Tuesday.
another fucking Tuesday in Florida. What we're used to down here, after 2004 when we were getting those 2 summers when we were getting hurricanes back to back.
04, 05.
Both of them, I think.
04 was like 3 in a row. It was just
and then 05 we had 2 more right in a row. It was like what?
It was weird. If you look back, the first 2 literally came into an X pattern. They went right through the center of Florida, and then we had that last one. I want to say it was Hugo, where it was going to be the end of the world, and it just shot straight up. And then it started to go away, made this tiny little loop, and just said, fuck it, and just hit I want to say it was like the Treasure Coast, stayed there for a little bit, and then just disappeared.
Well, what about the one last year that was coming at us as a Category 5?
And just dissipated.
And dissipated to a Category 1. And I think it was a...
Well, that's because
5.
of Puerto Rico.
No, I think it was a 5 as it hit the Keys.
No.
Pretty sure.
No, it hit Puerto Rico as a 5. And then it just kind of dissolved and became the 1. And it kind of saved all our asses.
I don't know.
Well, you can, if you look back, some of our friends over at Mission 22, David, he lives down in the Keys. And I remember talking to him about it. And he was saying, this is way after the fact. I talked to him over at the ADCC. He was saying there were still people that homes were just completely gone. And they're like, fuck it. Nobody was helping them. There was an old couple that they lost their home. They couldn't get any kind of medication, so people were trying to figure out how to give them medications and things like that. So it definitely fucked up a lot of the people in the Keys, but for sure the people in Puerto Rico are still suffering from it. But let's be very clear: the people in Puerto Rico got fucked over more by their own government, by their own people, because they had all the supplies necessary to return power, and it was just being held in this warehouse just so the mayor was could sit there and fucking shit on Trump. And I'm not getting into that political discussion, whatever it is, but that's what happened. I don't really give a shit about Trump or any other stuff that they had going back and forth, but it was just like a political tool so they could shit on Trump.
Political tools being political tools.
Yeah,
that seems to be the atmosphere of the times. Everybody's got a fucking opinion. Everybody thinks they know everything that's going on.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny to me? Coming from a different country, it's granted the U.S. is so advanced and we have so much stuff going on here, but when it comes to politics, we're still babies on this side. So all the bullshit politic games that go on in Europe are just now starting to really happen here, where the corruption is so blatant and they don't give a fuck about the people so blatantly that it's just kind of, they don't even bother hiding it.
Well, since we're on it, let's touch on a touchy issue.
What?
This week, the whole Colin Kaepernick Nike.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because people are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Let's just say what it is.
Yeah. So, for those that may be living under a rock, this week Nike released their newest campaign, which is Sacrifice.
It's not their newest campaign. It was their annual reissue of the Just Do It campaign, which they've been doing for 30 years.
Right, but it was believe in something so much that you sacrifice everything.
Have you seen the memes for it? Hold on. Have you seen the memes
for it? I've seen a lot of memes.
Have you seen the one for the Avengers?
No.
With what's his face with Thanos?
No.
He's like, sacrifice, believe in something so much you're willing to sacrifice half of everything.
No, and here's the thing. First of all, I couldn't care less about team sports, number one. Number two, I couldn't care less if somebody kneels or doesn't kneel for the anthem. It's your right as a fucking American
100%.
to do whatever the fuck you want to do unless you're getting paid and it becomes a part of your contract saying you will stand or you will get fined or you will get fired.
Well, you know that the funny part is it was a soldier that told him
to do it.
that he could do it. So a lot of people are pissed off, but the way that people are protesting this whole thing is so outright fucking dumb that you can clearly tell they don't get what the whole point. People have been trying to make this a race issue, or a patriotic issue so hard that they're completely missing the racial issue.
Well, no, it's things can intersect. It is a patriotic issue, but it is also a race issue.
It's a racial patriotic issue, is what it is. But people are trying to use race to cover up the fact that patriotism to cover up the fact that this was a racially motivated protest, because it was an injustice that he felt needed to be protested.
But do you?
What?
We're gonna avoid that conversation.
No, that's what he.
No. My conversation is it true?
100%.
If you look at the statistics, you might think different.
It's not about the statistics; it's what the population felt. So
No, I know. Well, look, you're talking. What's more important, facts or feelings? What you feel, which can change at a moment's notice,
right?
Or the facts. The facts are, there is a disproportionate percentage of black males killed by police,
right?
But they also commit more crime per capita. So
But
I'm not
right. But you also have to look
Yeah.
at the statistic of how you said it. They commit more crimes per capita. Okay. How many times have we seen the amount of people that get convicted and then later, 20 years down the road, they get overturned because you can tell it was just motivated out of corrupt cops?
Well, that regardless, that's not what I'm.
No, but I'm saying, like,
my
it's,
point is,
again, it's the statistic that you have to be careful for, because why did they get convicted? Is it a legitimate one, or are they corrupt cops?
Well, here's the thing: there's corrupt cops is not going to have that big of a impact on nationwide statistics.
Right, but
I was looking at what I wanted to do the other day when this whole thing came out is I looked at the FBI website to look at the statistics. The biggest percentage of people killed by the police are white people.
right.
Like, I think there was the one year I looked at, I think it was 16, maybe 17. There was 900 and something people killed by police officers.
I mean, I get it, but to me, it's not.
But look, half of them, over 500 of them, were white. The rest were scattered between the rest of the races.
Yeah, but where did they pull the numbers from? What city? Like what?
Every
part of the
city.
world?
Every police.
Right.
It was 900 people in the United States
Killed by cops.
killed by cops. 900 and something people killed.
500
by cops
of them were white.
were white. The rest, the other 400 and something, were scattered throughout the rest of the races. Of course, black was.
I can't sit there and.
And I'm not saying that there's not truth to driving by black or driving while black, where people get pulled over simply because they're the color of their skin or any of that stuff. And look, that might be.
Here's what it comes down to at the end, anyway. Because I can't sit there and say that I'm familiar enough with the statistics to defend it from one person's point of view or another. What I know is there's a group of people who feel disrespected, disenfranchised, looked down upon by certain people in society. They have every right to sit there and protest it and express themselves. The problem is that people are so busy getting offended by it that they're not willing to sit there and say, wow, this person is doing something that's really pissing a lot of people off. What is it that's making them do something that so many people consider drastic that they feel they have to make this kind of symbolic stand that we have, like, people aren't addressing it. That's what I'm saying. Is at the end of the day, people aren't addressing it.
I think what the problem is and it comes down to feelings and facts. I think I understand that these people feel like this, but why do they feel like this? How many people that are protesting and everything from that racial community have actually gone through it, and how many people are just going with the popular
consensus.
The popular consensus. Because I remember when they first started kneeling, like I called it. I go, here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is this going to work its way down through college and then through to high school. And I had seen pictures of children and like Pop Warner football taking a knee for the national anthem.
And I mean,
which look,
it's very difficult. It's very difficult to sit there and say that a kid understands what he's doing when he's doing that.
Even a high school kid. Think about what you thought you knew in high school and what you really knowing now. What you really knew. And look, again, at the end of the day, it comes down to nobody is having conversations anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, it was supposed to spark conversation, and I think partially it did. I think, to be very honest, I can't sit there and have that discussion and be honest to the opposite point of view because I'm white and Hispanic. I can definitely say that there's been times that I've been discriminated against because I'm Hispanic. But at the end of the day, it's not even remotely close to be able to sit there and have that conversation. I can't relate. My conversation with that has to do more about the people that think it's a bad financial move for Nike. And they don't understand how bad everyone got suckered in with this.
No, it was a bad financial move.
It's not.
Well, I will show you
the $3 billion drop that they had?
Yes.
Okay, you want me to show you how that's not the problem?
How's that not the problem?
Because that's just the stock, right?
That's
the stock. The stock reflects how people reacting to a decision. Doesn't mean that actually reflects to the actual sales of the company.
It can.
It can, but again, it doesn't.
So look, I
saw it. Trust me, I was about to go buy stocks right away. Here's the thing. Who is boycotting Nike now?
White folk.
How many of those white folk do you really think that Nike cares about? How many people do you think that who do you think Nike really markets to? Do you think Nike markets to a majority of white people? Or do you think that Nike markets to young youth, to the youth, to urban communities, to basketball players, to football players, to athletes, right? Now, these are also the same people who are feeling the same way that Colin did, and they're the ones that feel that way. So now you have people that have a symbol and have a movement, right? Now, let's look at it this way. I was talking about it with someone today. It's not racial, but look at, remember the yellow bands, that Lance Armstrong band?
Yes.
Okay? Those bands came out way before Lance Armstrong got attached with it. But Lance Armstrong became attached to it. So now you had a bracelet that was a symbol for testicular cancer, but they didn't have an actual symbol behind it. Now comes Lance Armstrong. Had testicular cancer, twice? Won how many Tour de France? Now you have a symbol for someone who fought, who's this strong guy. He went through adversity and did this. He did what's considered to be one of the most grueling things you could do as an athlete. Now you have something that everyone's affected by cancer one way or another. You have the symbol, you have the movement, and now you have a product. Even after he got busted, look at how big of an impact it had in the industry for something as simple as a small piece of rubber. Right?
No. There wasn't a controversy behind it.
Well, afterwards there was.
Well,
because
obviously
once
because
he got busted,
popped.
right? So now look at it this way.
There was a feeling of you were doing something good,
right? But look at it this way now. You have a majority of your client base is this disenfranchised group, right? Let's be honest. That's really what it is. These are also the same people who, even though they might not have the most amount of disposable income, they're willing to sacrifice that to go buy $300 pairs of shoes, to go buy a shirt just because it has someone's face on it, just because it has the Jordan logo, just because it says Nike, just because of that fact alone. Now, the same people that are pissing off white people, who they're feeling like these are the same group that's fucking with us, now we're pissing them off, and we have this guy, and our favorite brand has his logo on there. What do you think, they're not going to make money? Don't let that $3 billion drop fool you. That's a fucking drop in the bucket for Nike.
I don't know. 3 billion is a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot, but short term it's a loss. Long term it's a big fucking gain.
We'll see.
Look at it. All right, let's look at it
time
this
will
way.
tell, because there's a difference between building on something. So what the Lance Armstrong thing, that was built on positivity.
Right.
This is built on
Struggle.
I wasn't gonna
Social
say,
struggle.
I wasn't going to say that. No, I don't think it is. To me, what this is being built on divisiveness. I guarantee you.
I agree with it.
That the executives that made the decision that go with Colin Kaepernick, I guarantee you they go.
No, they're fully prepared. They knew.
No. I'm not. No. I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, they definitely feel the heat. They're like,
right.
That one hurt. But
that one hurt. But they're thinking in the long run. Well, look what, like you're saying, look what happened with Lance Armstrong. But
so now look at
again, that had a positive message behind it. This is at its core, it's a positive message.
All right,
I get it.
Let me give you another example. Let's look at it this way. First of all, historically speaking, Nike picked the right side of the line. They jumped on part of a line that was drawn, and historically speaking, Nike picked the right side. They picked the winning side. It's gonna win. Let's be very honest. Don't look at it impartially.
No. I'm looking at that. That's all I look at it because I don't have a dog in the fight.
Right. So now look at it this way.
Less about
Let's go back. Let's go back to Muhammad Ali when he ended up going to jail because he didn't want to fight in the war.
Right.
And what did he say? What was his response to the news when they asked him why he doesn't want to go fight for his country?
Well, he doesn't want to go kill other.
His response was
different.
No Vietnamese person ever called me a like, and that is 100% true. Like that was the fact that he's like, wait a minute, why am I going to go fight for a country that treats me like crap?
Right.
So it's the same thing. Now imagine if back then there was a company that had the financial means to support him, and they knew that with the way that everything is moving, that they're going to win because. At the end of the day, we're all fighting for equality.
I think it's two different. To me, it's two different issues.
How?
Because
it still came down to race.
Because Muhammad Ali was truly oppressed, truly oppressed. Colin Kaepernick has not been truly. Well, I shouldn't say that. But
you don't know that,
right?
But
I mean, think about the
speaking
times.
for people that are.
Think about the times, and I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick has never gone through struggles because we've all gone through struggles.
Not to that extent. Let's be honest.
Well, here's the thing: what extent has he gone through? He's lost a career. Maybe. Anybody can lose a job. Think about it when we had that conversation about the guy that lost his job over the pool
Fuck
thing.
that guy.
Regardless, but what I'm saying is. That dude was doing the same thing. He believed something that was right, and it cost him everything.
Okay, but here's the difference.
No.
He was being divisive.
Let me finish.
Right.
So is this. Colin Kaepernick is being divisive. Do you want to know how this could have all gone away? This all could have gone away, and he probably would have kept his job if, as soon as the story broke about him kneeling, and he talked about it, he goes, what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring...
He did.
Right, but then he continued to kneel. Once you bring the issue to the forefront...
No, it couldn't have worked out that way because then it would have looked like he gave up on it.
No.
100%. I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, if after that he had his little press conference and then he stopped kneeling, first thing anyone would have said is, "Oh, he got paid off."
No, and if he said, "Look, exactly that at the press conference," if he said, "This is why I have been kneeling," because I respect the flag, I respect my country. I respect the men and women that have fought and died for that flag. I wanted to bring some focus into what is an issue in the black community. I will no longer be kneeling because we are now talking about this, and it is now a part of the narrative in sports. I am not going to do that. Now that we're talking about it,
right,
I can stop it, and we can go back to the business of football.
I see where you're coming from, and I can understand why you would think that, but I think that with everything that was going on at the time that led up to that, with the amount of people getting shot by cops and how it kept on escalating, it just seemed like it kept on happening because the press kept on pushing the subject. I think the subject is something so serious that it wouldn't have done the people affected justice if he would have just stopped. Because if he hadn't kept going and said, fuck this, I'm going to keep doing it because clearly it's pissing people off. And at the end of everything, even though what you're saying is not wrong, that would have been something that could have happened, at the end of the day, it still didn't cause people to look at what's the real reason for why he did it. And that conversation is still not being had because people are drawing the line.
There shouldn't be a line. That's the problem.
Yeah, Shawn, but you're looking for a utopia. That's not the way
I'm
that
not
people
looking
works.
for a utopia, but what I'm looking for is civil discourse. Look,
you think you're really going to get that?
you should. This is
okay, but we're not talking about should. We're talking about real world. This is the way
you know what
works.
the problem. Here's what the biggest fucking problem with our fucking society is.
People are soft.
No, it's not even that. It's social media, and what I mean by that.
Okay, Grandpa.
Well, no. Let me explain what I mean by that. People are used to saying their piece, and that's it. Because somebody's not in front of them, and they will say shit over social media that they would never say to somebody's face.
No, for sure, and that's why I always say I'll never say something on here that I wouldn't say to somebody's fucking face.
So social media gives everybody this. What's the word I'm looking for? This entitlement.
It's
a disconnect, but this entitlement that my opinion matters.
Yeah.
So
it's
all these idiots burning their shit.
Yeah.
And look,
stupid.
If that's it's your shit. If you want to burn it, do it. If just like I say, if you want to kneel. If you want to burn your shit as a protest, burn it. But I think that's a stupid way to show that you just lost your shit.
What I think is funny, again, this is why I think it's marketing sense. It makes sense.
Don't buy any new shit. If you want to protest it, don't buy no new shit.
But like that stuff you already bought. They already got your money, dum-dum. So you burning it, like it doesn't change anybody. So let me ask you something. Who are you going to go to next? Adidas or Puma?
No, they're going to Under Armour. Because Under Armour, the guy that runs Under Armour is a conservative.
Right. But you're probably going to buy a pair of Converse, right? At some point. Guess what? Nike owns Converse.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to go buy a pair of Hurley shorts? Shoes,
yeah.
Nike owns Hurley.
Nike owns Hurley.
So what people think is going to affect shit isn't going to affect it. You're just fucking stroking your own ego. You're sitting there and blowing up just for no fucking reason. Like, you obviously don't understand how the shit really fucking works. So I think it's funny that everyone's getting all butthurt over it, but at the end of the day, they still don't understand what the fuck is going on. There was another point that I did want to make, and you totally made me fucking forget about it. Oh! So there was something I wanted to bring up to you.
Okay.
I was kind of going over through my head the conversation we were having about tournaments. And I was really thinking about why is jiu-jitsu not as popular of a sport as it should be?
Well,
and I think I figured out the biggest key point of why it doesn't have the mass appeal.
Well, any there's really not, like, besides boxing.
Right.
Combat sports really aren't, even though UFC and MMA in general is one of the biggest.
But see, okay, so I see what you're going with, but that's not true because wrestling is still huge.
It's not.
It's
not huge. You don't see wrestling on ESPN.
Yes, you do.
Very rarely.
What are you talking about? NCAA?
It's
like
yeah,
they stop
that.
it.
But there's other shit that happens all year round.
That's
more important
okay,
than the NCAA.
Right. But again, here's where I'm going with this.
If they show it, it's on the Ocho.
Yeah, right. Here's where I'm going with this. You're right at that. It's not an everyday thing, but wrestling does have even though it's not big in the U.S., across the world,
the oldest sport in the world.
It's a huge sport. Judo is a massive sport across the world. It's not big in the U.S. Why? There is no significant win or loss what's the word I'm looking for?
Clearly defined rule set.
Not the rule set. It's
Like points.
you don't really lose anything. You're not losing anything. You're not risking it all. Here's why. If you and I have a super fight, right? All right, I win, you lose. Guess what? It doesn't fucking mean shit because you and I know that we got another match next week.
It does mean something.
And
It means you're dreaming.
Yeah. But no, let's look at it this way. But it doesn't mean anything because you and I know, okay, there's just going to be another match next week. There's going to be another match next week. So what? So there is no World Series for Jiu-Jitsu. There is no WEB. There is no WEC belt.
I don't think. I think it's something totally
Well,
even more basic than all that.
No, be like, look, people don't understand it. People don't get it. That's fine. You can still have a sport that a majority of the people don't understand that they're going to sit there and still watch. If I sit there and let's say we created an organization from top to bottom, it's a world-class sport. Think of it like they do the world-class basketball. They have like an actual world league, right? It'll end up being the U.S. against Puerto Rico, Spain versus Japan, whatever it is.
Yeah, but
At the end of the day, you have a sacrifice where you make one team moves to the
no,
finals.
that's not what it is.
100%.
I'm
Why?
gonna tell you exactly what it means.
You're just
What-
being a fucking contrarian. Just
No.
you don't
No.
fucking
Here's
know.
exactly what it is.
What?
It comes down. The God's honest truth is it's a new sport.
No.
Yes.
No, you're
yes. No, I'm not
100%
wrong.
wrong.
How am I wrong?
Because basketball has been around like shorter than jiu-jitsu.
No.
Yeah.
How long? No, listen to me. Listen to me, Linda. Honey, listen to me. Listen. No, what I'm saying is, sports, except for one, or actually, there's two sports that are huge outside the U.S. that do not happen in the U.S.
What?
Soccer and cricket. Those are huge.
Okay.
Here's what it is.
Cricket is a boring fucking sport.
Right, exactly. That's why it
I'll
would never
still
happen
watch
in
it, but
America.
it's boring.
Here's
We got baseball.
Here's the truth is it's a new sport to America. It didn't come to America till the early 80s, and it didn't catch on. Jiu-jitsu didn't catch on as a fucking sport
So like the last 5-10 years tops.
till the 2000s.
Okay, right.
So that's what that is everything has to build.
That's
So
still
it's-
not true though, because look at MMA.
Yeah, MMA is still tiny.
Right, but
Tiny.
it's still popular.
It's popular, but
they're
it's still tiny.
MMA
compared-
wouldn't have been as popular if they didn't have belts. If you didn't have a clear champion, if you didn't have the heavyweight champion, if you didn't have the lightweight champion, if you didn't have those champions, no one gives a shit. That's why people only care about competing
That's
at
not true
IBJJF.
because
right?
the belts were around, and MMA, UFC almost folded until the Ultimate Fighter. People didn't care about it.
That's different. You're talking about still the one thing that caught people's eyes. It was still the fact that there was a battle that someone had to win or lose. It was two guys beating the shit out of each other.
Right, but nobody cared.
And they still got lucky on that. That's fine. That's understandable. But you do not have a clear winner. You do not have a clear loser in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so let's say Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin fought. They fight for 30 minutes. There's no winner. You're going to be like, oh, that was bullshit. Well, then who fucking wins? You're going to be like, no.
Well,
Why do you watch championship fights? Why are
technically-
championship fights pay-per-view, but the rest aren't?
Yeah, but the UFC had belts before the Ultimate Fighter, and it was still
To declare
losing
who the champion.
Right, but it was still losing.
You're
They
not
were
getting it, Sean.
I
That's
am
not
getting
what,
it.
No,
It
that's
has
not what I'm
nothing-
talking
because
about.
they've had something on the line for the whole time.
Yeah, but they
If
had
it-
this
if-
shitty marketing behind it. That's different.
Regardless, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not shitty marketing means it wasn't popular. If it wasn't popular, it's because
So then what about cricket? Cricket is popular all over the world. It's just not popular in
cricket
the
is
U.S.
fucking boring.
No, but it's.
Why?
But
Look at soccer. Soccer and let's look at soccer because that's the closest thing.
Right.
Soccer is starting to gain a little bit of steam in the United States.
Wrong.
It is.
Wrong. Soccer has been getting popular since the 70s or 80s when Pele came to play for the Cosmo All-Stars,
Right,
and they
but-
had the World Championship.
Yeah, but-
now, look, just because it wasn't huge doesn't mean
It's
if you
still
go to-
not huge.
What are you talking about, Sean? There's massive camps just right down the street.
I understand that, but
Just because it's not popular for you doesn't mean
No,
it's not popular for a ton
me.
of
It's
people.
not a popular sport in America, and that's not just my opinion. You can ask any American who watches
Okay, but why?
pro soccer
Because the teams suck here.
No, because it's when it got here, it's new. Soccer isn't an established American sport. It's not an American sport. That's the problem. You want to know what boxing? That's an American sport. Why? Because
No, it's not.
for the most part, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. What made? Where was the first world champion?
You tell me.
It was the first world champion was in New York. Was in the United States.
That's just because they claimed the world champion. Again,
Right.
You have to have a champion.
Right. Exactly.
So you're telling me boxing wasn't huge in Cuba, it's not huge in the UK, it's not huge in Jamaica.
not
it's
before
huge-
not before the 1900s.
No.
Not before the
Absolutely
1900s.
not. People
No.
came over here from Europe.
I understand, but the people who were fighting, if they wanted to make it in boxing, came to America. So,
No, that's just because they wanted to come to America to begin with.
well, that's
different.
true. Regardless, but here's the thing: it's an American sport because most of the champions over the years have been Americans.
No? What are you talking about?
Most of the champions, I'm talking heavyweight.
Lennox Lewis? Well, who's Lennox Lewis?
Oh,
Mike Tyson is the one guy that's
Mike
like
Tyson,
American.
Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, all these fuckers. Where do you think they came from?
Okay, so you're telling me there's no UK champions, there's no Cuban
I didn't
champions.
say there
You're just thinking
weren't.
about heavyweight.
I didn't say
There's
there weren't.
50 other weight classes.
First of all, boxing follows the heavyweights. Anybody who knows anything about boxing knows.
So Oscar De La Hoya,
Yeah,
Floyd
he-
Mayweather, he's not a heavyweight.
I understand, but
Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, and boxing isn't big right now. You want to know when boxing was the biggest? When we had
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield.
When we had no other fucking sports.
Regardless, it was.
We,
it was
we
when
barely
that-
had basketball. Basketball was about to fold.
when it was huge. It was huge in the 70s, and then it kind of died down until the late 80s because the heavyweights. It follows the heavyweights. Boxing always follows the heavyweights.
Klitschko?
Klitschko is a great fighter, but he wasn't.
Triple G?
Triple G is not. Again, he's not a heavyweight.
But that's
Think
what I'm
about
saying.
the
You're-
popularity
you're-
of boxing. I'm talking about it all comes.
boxing
it
is
comes
even
down
more
to
popular
being
than
an
other.
established American sport, and jiu-jitsu
Wrong.
hasn't
Absolutely wrong.
become.
No way, dude. You can't tell me that boxing is bigger in the U.S. than other parts of the world.
It is,
Absolutely not.
except for like places like
Mexico,
Like, again,
UK.
what? But why? It's not bigger in the UK than it is here. No way. It's big. I'll tell you where it's the biggest, and this is. It's going to be big in those countries where they need a way out, and you have a few in Brazil.
Cuba,
In Brazil,
Puerto Rico,
there was
Vale Tudo.
when I was in Brazil, I talked to people. There was two ways.
Judo.
There was two ways to get out of the favelas:
Soccer.
soccer or fighting. MMA, jiu-jitsu. There was
Judo.
No,
Judo way before jiu-jitsu.
I'm talking, yeah, but these people weren't using judo to move out of the fucking.
What are you talking
favelas.
about? How do you think Hector Lombard got out?
Well,
How
no,
do
he
you
was
think-
on the. That's you're talking
Wrestling.
one fucking guy.
Well, you're
and he
talking
wasn't.
about-
Hector Lombard isn't Brazilian.
No, but I'm
He's
saying
Cuban.
it's still all these guys still got out with
Right.
with the wrestling with
Right,
fucking
because
judo.
Yeah, but they were in a
Get
communist
Danilo
country.
in here. I guarantee you.
They
he
were
sit
in a
there-
communist country.
No, but
you
even
can't.
Brazil.
You can't talk about communist countries in popularity
man,
of sports.
you're not- like, no
Like
way.
look at baseball in Dominican Republic. It's huge. Why? Because it doesn't take a lot of money to bat around a stick and a ball. These guys. That's why it's big. That's why boxing's big
In Dominican Republic.
The big. Oh no, I'm talking about in Mexico.
Right.
Mexico, for a lot of these Mexican fighters, fighting is their only way out of the poverty that they were.
Yeah, but
born
that's
into.
same with soccer and same with like all the other ones.
I
But
agree.
That's
I agree.
totally negated.
But the difference is boxing, baseball, football
Oh, so you're telling me
are all established and popular American sports because they've been around for most of modern
but
history.
football is not popular anywhere else in the world?
Exactly. I agree. But yet, these players here get millions and millions of dollars. I'm not. Look, that's why I'm saying it's popular here because it's part of our culture.
But
jiu-jitsu isn't part of our culture. It's new. And,
but
and 50 to 100,
you're
and
totally
50
missing what my point is. I don't give a fuck about it being popular just in the
But
US.
you just told me.
I'm
popular.
saying
It's not going to be popular in Africa because people can't afford gis. When you have to walk 2 to 5 miles every day to get water, the last thing you're thinking about is where am I going to get money to find
you
a
don't
gi?
have wrestling over there?
You didn't say wrestling. You said
But we're
jiu-jitsu.
talking about right. But you're sitting there and throwing all these other sports in, but you're still not understanding the fact that all these sports got big because you have a champion. You have something to risk. If you don't have the declared champion where everybody says he's the champion, then it doesn't matter. That's what I'm telling you. If you had a jiu-jitsu
What
sport,
about tennis?
you still have the Grand Slam winner. If you have someone that wins in Wimbledon and then wins like all the other ones,
Yeah, but
you have the Grand
That's the
Champion
same thing
at the end.
as jiu-jitsu. You said
But
when
it's
you
still
started
one
when you,
organization,
when you,
Shawn.
When
That's
you
what I'm
started
saying.
when you started
it's still one tennis organization that you have the
the
champion.
ATP. But here's the thing. You said the reason jiu-jitsu is not popular is because there's nothing on the line because next week there's going to be another match.
But they're
Same
all
thing
for
in-
different. But
in-
again,
in
they're all
tennis.
different organizations. There's EBI. There's IBJJF. There's fucking Fight to Win. There's New Breed. There's this,
And
that,
these
and the
are
other.
all new.
But it's still
all these new ones, EBI.
But there's still not
these
one
new
single
ones.
organization that says this is the fine one. It's the same thing with MMA. Look at how many different MMA organizations are now.
I would tend to disagree with you. I think most people agree that IBJJF is the leading. Yes.
No, it's just the one that's been around the longest. But it's not the deciding factor of who the best in the world is.
Then why do
ADCC
Then
is.
why does it get so
is.
much coverage for the World Championship?
Because they're finally putting money into it.
No, it's because it matters.
No, okay, so tell me, who do you think is the legit champion? The IBJJF champion or the ADCC champion?
Gi or no gi?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's still no
Because
gi for ADCC.
No gi is different than gi.
Why? So you just, okay, so instead of 12-ounce gloves, they use 16-ounce gloves
No,
over
there's
here.
what you can do in gi and what you can do in no gi are two different things sometimes.
ADCC. We're talking about
Okay,
IBJJF.
okay, I'll
Don't try and
No,
pick
no.
apart with it.
No,
Say the answer.
I'll say it with this. Gordon Ryan, would you say he's one of the best on the planet no gi?
One of the best.
How do you think he would do in a gi competition?
He would, depending on who we go against, he could win or he could lose.
Right, exactly.
If he was going up against Claudio Calasanz, he could probably win.
Right.
Claudio Calasanz won ADCC, IBJJF, and what else did he fucking win that year? He won another tournament that year. He won the three biggest
They're
ones.
totally different weight classes. But what I'm saying is, all these other ones are new. IBJJF has been around the longest, and it is widely regarded as that's the ranking that matters.
But it's only regarded that way because it's the only one.
You said
that's
it
been
wasn't.
around. No, I'm
You
saying
just said
it's
it
the only
wasn't.
one that's been around the longest. Don't try to
Right.
nitpick just because you want to win your
I'm
argument.
not trying to win an argument. I'm
But
trying to.
at the end of the day, you're still agreeing with me because it still comes down to we have to have one clear champion. In jiu-jitsu, there is no way that anyone could sit there and say that's the clear champion.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Buchecha.
Doesn't matter. He goes up against Hadra Gracie. There you go, Gi.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They've
then you're
traded
automatically
wins and
wrong.
losses.
But that's what I'm saying. Is if we lose one this week, we win one the next week. It doesn't fucking matter. You say, oh, you could go
Same
back
with
and forth all
tennis.
day. No, but
You can win 4 matches in tennis and be the grand. You can win 4 competitions in tennis. You can lose every other one you enter and win those 4 and be the Grand Slam champion.
Right, but you still won the ones that mattered, so you won.
Yeah, so the World Championship matters. the Pan Americans
doesn't
matter.
matter.
The Europeans matter.
But you still have to win that championship. That's what I'm sitting there and telling you. For IBJJF, it doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything for ADCC either. That's the
yes,
problem.
it does, because ADCC is invitational. You have to earn your way in there, and then you have
to earn your way into the World Championship.
No.
Yes, you do. You
win one local one, and then you can go in.
But it's still an earn. Same thing with ADCC. You win one local fucking ADCC.
You go into trials.
No.
And then you still have to be invited to win the ADCC championships.
Not always. No. Some of these are qualifiers. That if you win,
But
you're going
not,
regardless.
But it's not the same ones. That's what I'm saying. And at the end, the 99% of the guys that win the trials aren't going to go off to win ADCC. Let's just be very honest.
No
you
shit.
have
There's
to get
only gonna be
invited.
there's
but
one
that's
per
what I'm
weight
saying.
class.
And like you just said, okay, you win IBJJF Worlds, you go to ADCC, you lose at somebody in ADCC. Who's the real clear champion?
It doesn't matter. That's the clear. Whether there's a clear champion or not, I don't think that's the. You would think a sport that anybody can do technically, that anybody could win. You just have to be. You just have to get good. You don't have to join a pro league. You don't have to do this. But like, would I love to see what you're saying? Would I love to see one champion that like holds the belt or in each weight class? Sure, of course. I think that would be rad. But I don't believe that is the reason why jiu-jitsu is not popular. The reason jiu-jitsu is not popular is it has not been around that long.
Well, people don't understand it.
It has to gain momentum through support. Just now, what's happening is you're seeing. Think about it. Kids classes. That's where it starts. It starts with the kids. Kids classes. Think about kids classes 10 years ago. I remember seeing kids classes. Some places didn't even have classes.
People are like, I don't want my kid doing that.
Right. Now you're seeing these kids enter jiu-jitsu. So now what's going to happen is in 15 years, if these kids stay in it, they're going to be like, they're going to be incredible. Or at least they heard about it and they understand it a little bit and they can, I used to do this when I was a kid.
Right.
It's different from karate because karate obviously is
But here's the one fault in that one. It's soccer has been doing that for ages. Soccer has been having camps to under like 15, under 14, under whatever camp forever in the U.S. At least the last 30 years.
But when was the first professional soccer league in the United States?
The 70s.
And what happened to it?
They had to bring in stars.
But what happened to it?
Because they didn't understand
I'll tell you why it died. It wasn't popular because they didn't establish a route with the kids. So what happened is they came here trying to appeal to adults that had no concept of the sport. So soccer came, it died, but these kids started playing. Now what's happening is the kids that started in the 70s are now adults. And their kid, they love this sport, and they're putting their kids in it. So that's why it's growing.
But it's still not blowing up the
way
way that
blow.
is.
I guarantee you, within the next 20 years, soccer will it won't be as big, obviously, as baseball, basketball, football. But I see more people like Colin went to the. They had one of the European League games down at Joe Robbie.
Yeah, the exhibition games. Those are all bullshit.
But the place was packed to capacity. Packed to capacity.
Yeah, it was like they have like Peru versus Chile coming.
Yeah, those things are starting. 10 years ago, that shit happened here. No, but what happened was these kids. But
they had like years ago. I remember it used to go into like a Miami Fusion. You remember Miami Fusion?
Yeah, but it wasn't something that was packed to the rafters every time.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Miami Fusion.
Do you know how I can tell you why it was not? Because it died.
It died. No, it died because they had like shitty management.
Regardless, no.
Sean,
if people are not going to the game, if people are not going to the games, then they are not making money. Even if you have shitty management, if people are going to the games and you have an influx of money, it's going to survive.
I mean, we're talking about we went through recessions. We went through all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, football made it through that. Baseball made it through that. Basketball made it through that. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with that it was established. Football has been a part. Baseball, basketball, even golf has been a part of American culture since.
That's like the lamest thing.
Yeah, but tennis
and golf isn't even American.
It's all. I didn't say it was American. I'm saying it's part of our American culture. That's the difference.
I wouldn't go that.
That's
way.
the difference.
It's not. it is now, but it didn't grow up being a part of American
yes,
culture.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
It started with the Scots.
Yeah, I didn't say it started in there. I'm saying America is so young that there's been sports that have been around. So when sporting events became popular, which is the 20th century, is when football, baseball, basketball. That's the modern after the frontier days. After we made inroads across the country.
Did we have? Let's say, well, the only sport that was really popular worldwide, like for a majority part of the world, I guess, before, let's say, 1920.
Like I would say tennis would be the closest thing, because they've been like the Wimbledon and
they used to
French
play
Open.
tennis they didn't play tennis, they played badminton.
No, tennis has been around since like the 1500s or something like that.
No, badminton was, but
so it's, tennis too.
No.
Yeah.
No, because they didn't even have the technology to make fucking balls that bounce like that. When they did soccer, they used to use human heads.
It wasn't rubber. It wasn't a rubber ball, but they've been playing tennis since like it might be the 1700s.
Oh well, it's a couple of hundred years,
dude. How far did technology advance in 200 years from the 1500s to the 1700s?
I mean, even from 100 years. First played between 1859 and 1865. Birmingham, England.
Yeah, I've seen like the net.
That's what I'm saying. They had the net, but they played badminton. That was the original one, and then it became tennis. That's what I'm saying. Like technically the oldest sport.
Well, you said before 1900.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like
tennis.
1920 is tennis, but then if you think even like that was really the only sport other than soccer.
Racing's probably the world's most popular.
Well, yeah. Actually, you know what? It's that goat one. It's the one that they used in the Middle East.
I think
it wasn't worldwide.
No, it wasn't worldwide. But racing, any continent, anywhere you go, racing is
because it was in the first Olympic Games.
Yeah, it was running human powered first, then on horses, then in cars. Or motorized vehicles.
I'm wondering, would it be an actual? Would running have come first? Because I think they did it like between like cities or whatever.
Well, that's what the reason why it's called a marathon.
And then they had.
Do you know why?
Why?
There was a dude that it was during the Persian War with Greeks or in Greece. The dude ran from Marathon to Athens, I think. I could be wrong, which is 26.2 miles. Which is 26.2 miles. So that's and he did it, and then he died. He ran and delivered the news that the Persians were coming, and then he died. So that became known as a marathon. That's where running as.
But I'm thinking, did soccer with the Mayans come before that?
They really didn't play. It was more like basketball.
It was a mixture of the two, but the thing was,
it was like they had the hoop on the wall.
Yeah.
And you had to. You threw a human head through the wall, and
they had to use their hips.
And the Mongols had something very similar.
They had wrestling,
but they had something similar with severed heads.
Yeah, but they did that just to be fucking creepy.
Yeah, but
they have wrestling like Mongolian Mongolian wrestling. That's like one of the oldest ones.
Wrestling is the oldest sport on the planet.
Have you ever seen Mongolian wrestling?
I don't think so.
So
I've seen that African wrestling, which is fucking rad.
What's that?
I don't know what it is, but they wear like it's almost like they wear sumo outfit, like the sumo stuff, and I think they grease themselves up. If I remember.
No, you're thinking it's the Turkish wrestling.
No. Then they don't grease themselves up, but this is in
which is also the most
Africa,
non-hetero thing that you do.
It's basically like once you get the guy down, you win. It's basically a takedown battle.
Right.
It's like Greco, more or less. But wrestling is the oldest sport because wrestling came from a need to survive.
Yeah.
Sport only happened when humans became bored and they didn't have to fight for every morsel of food that they got.
They had archery.
Yeah, but that was born out of the reason you got good out of archery is because you needed to survive.
But the Mongolian like wrestling, they have basically these really thick leather jackets, with like metal studs and things like that, and they use that to grip. So it's like judo.
Yeah.
But they would use that to grip. And you see these guys with just mangled fingers, like snap fingers and stuff like that.
I tell you what, the most brutal sport I've ever seen is that Italian sport. That's like a mix between
the fist fighting soccer.
The fist fighting soccer game.
So stupid. It's the dumbest thing ever.
That's the most brutal. I don't know how you score, but I don't know. All I know is you can beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, you can beat the shit out of people. If you want to see something that's really brutal, is when they do that celebration with the tomatoes. You ever seen that?
Oh, in Spain, it's in
No, it's in Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but basically, they have it's almost like carnival, but they drive down the city streets with truck loads of tomatoes, ripe, fresh fucking tomatoes, and people start hurling them at each other. So if you watch footage, you see people getting wrecked.
Oh yeah,
in the fucking face with the fucking ripe tomato. That shit is not a fucking.
There's a picture from the early 20th or late 19th century of these kids, students from like one of the colleges, all fucked up from a snowball fight.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, people used to go hard.
They fucking went in the paint with that.
But I guess we kind of got off topic about why jiu-jitsu's not
No,
popular.
but it's still following the history of sport.
But it's a history of
day,
sport. Things evolve, and because jiu-jitsu's new. Think about MMA. The birth of MMA was 1993 in America. It was popular in Brazil before that with Vale Tudo, but that was Brazil. We didn't have like, there weren't Brazilian TV stations you could watch here.
Yeah.
So what happened was once the UFC started, I remember thinking, because I watched the first UFC. I remember I watched the first and second one on pay-per-view just because I thought it was such a cool idea. And I remember watching. I was like, "There's no way this dude's gonna fucking win. He's gonna lose. Look how little he is."
Oh yeah.
And he beat everybody. I was like, "Holy shit!" But guess what? You couldn't train that shit.
Yeah.
There was no places here in America to train.
Well, that's what they were doing. They were trying to.
That's what that was. UFC was a commercial for Gracie
Yeah,
Jiu-Jitsu.
well, that's what he did it for.
It's like Top Gun was the best commercial ever for the Navy.
Yeah.
So, but that's what
I can't wait for the new one.
Yeah, but so then it kind of like it went into obscurity. You had the John McCain calling it human cockfighting, and it like got outlawed everywhere. And then they started getting some momentum in the early 2000s when the Fertittas bought it and they put some actual money behind it. Think about how many palms they had to grease. I'm sure. I'm not saying that they did.
Oh, for sure. No,
because
without a
I
doubt.
don't know for sure. But
No,
in order
it's
to
promoting. They grease
in order to get MMA legal in a lot of these states, I'm sure some people had to get their little kickback.
For sure.
So they started gaining momentum, and they were close to closing doors. I've heard the story told by Dana White. The Ultimate Fighter saved it because nobody was caring.
No, everybody knows that story. Everybody knows that it was about to go, and then it just
nobody cared.
Yeah.
And when nobody cares about something, it dies.
Well, look at what happened. Now, I mean, now it's done.
Yeah, right. And that's when after Forrest and Stephan Bonner fought, and that finale is what birthed MMA.
Yeah.
Here in America, and think about it. That's when people started. That's when you started seeing
Posters up at the bars.
or jiu-jitsu. Like now, you start seeing a jiu-jitsu school pop up here and there.
Would you ever want to say, let's say you had a time machine, go back when people first started popping up jiu-jitsu schools and go back to find the guys that were full of shit trying to play off? There was one guy that was like a UFC fighter. I was reading an article the other day. He made this whole thing sound like he was some undefeated underground fighter.
Was that the guy that killed his?
I can't remember.
Joe Rogan talks about this guy as a fake black belt.
There's a bunch
and he
of
had a stage fight with one of his students in a King of the Cage.
Yeah.
But
if you could go back,
no, I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't?
No.
I think it would be fucking hilarious to go back and just to have a camera and film it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, Or if I could just, it's funny, as I told people this, it's weird, but if I could go back in time and tell young Shawn one thing.
Don't eat that dick.
No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. No, I would, and everyone says, you would have told him to get into jiu-jitsu earlier. I'm like, nope.
Probably not.
No, I would have told him to get into surfing earlier.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Right.
I would have said, you need to surf because it's going to make you happy. And
yeah.
So I would tell him that, but as far as jiu-jitsu, I think it's I wouldn't change anything about jiu-jitsu because it's still ours. I don't want it to be popular because it makes it ours. When shit becomes popular, I hate it after that.
Yeah, but
I'm a weirdo that way.
No, it's not that. It's just you're the hipster of jiu-jitsu. You're one of those guys. Like, I was doing it before it was cool.
No, it's not even that. It's like I used to love Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails is one of my favorite bands.
Okay.
Then I was watching Blossom on TV one night.
I remember you telling me this.
And the one girl was on the phone. I need tickets to a concert. I don't know this, maybe Nine Inch Nails. I was like, are they talking about Nine Inch Nails on Blossom with Joey Lawrence? Whoa!
What's wrong with that?
No, because if
Blossom
can't
band, like Nine Inch Nails.
If my band reached that popularity that I thought was like this cool kind of underground stuff, like I'm not a hipster where I go, oh, I like this before you. I just when I find shit, it's mine. Like Clutch.
You're still hipsterish.
Like Clutch. Clutch is my buddy Joe, who runs a professional wrestling company out of California. Shout out to PCW. Pacific Coast Wrestling. But
you weren't even sure saying that.
I wasn't, but I know it's now PCW Ultra, regardless.
Irregardless.
He got me. There's no such word as irregardless, you son of a bitch. Regardless, he got me into Clutch.
Yeah.
It was they had just released their third album, Elephant Riders, when him and I started wrestling together. Yeah. And I remember going, oh, this is the shit. So since the third album, I've been on the Clutch train, and I through every album. And what I love about Clutch is I don't think they will ever reach mainstream popularity. Well, they almost did with Electric Worry.
Yeah,
Electric Worry had me worried.
You can blame Tarantino. I think it was Tarantino that used it in the movie.
I don't think so. I just think it was such a rad song.
I swear it was in a movie.
It was in. You know who used to use them was Bam. Bam used to. Yeah. They were on an episode of Bam.
Yeah.
Viva La Bam one time, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But people didn't catch on. I'm like, yes.
I remember watching like the old CKY videos, and then Jackass popped up. Oh man. I was like, what the? Oh, this is gonna get bad. And then I remember everybody copying. We had these kids in high school that when Jackass reached the peak of their just famdom when I was in high school, they started doing their own thing, and they called it barbecued urine is what it was called. That was their video. So they this video started making its rounds, and they were doing the most dumbest shit. Like, at least Jackass, like, it was like a group of guys doing stupid shit,
and it was funny though. A lot of it was funny,
but you could tell like these guys are gonna end up like going to the hospital after the fact. These guys were doing something stupid. So I remember one kid dressed up in I want to say it was a banana suit, and they doused him with alcohol and they set it on fire.
It's probably made out of styrofoam or something.
Polyester.
That when it heats, it melts.
It started melting to his skin. I remember watching the video afterwards, and it was just like he ended up getting third-degree burns and stuff on his legs, I think it was. But they were doing stupid shit like that, and finally they realized, oh, we're fucking way too dumb for our own good, and they stopped doing it. But I remember it was called barbecue urine. I wish I could find those tapes because there was some really funny shit that they were doing.
It's probably on YouTube now.
No, I tried. I looked. Yeah. I think we should probably wrap it up. It's getting a little late. Yeah. I've been close to getting sick, and I'm still in the middle of the move, so I got to be out by next week. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Please take the time to subscribe. Hit the little button that hits subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends. Give us a follow. Check out the Jiu-Jitsu Radio Instagram, or you can check out my Instagram, Sonder Marketing. feel free to follow Shawn, Gorilla Boy, BJJ. As always, big thank you to our sponsors, Choke Aloha, Jiu-Jitsu Soap Co., Giraffe Choke, and Monstros brand. Give them a follow as well. And go buy some of my artwork. Holler at your boy. I need some more artwork, I think. Oh, speaking of artwork, before we end, I want to give a big fuck you to Choke Republic for stealing my t-shirt design. Just letting you know right now.
The Endless Summer?
Endless, yeah.
Or the Endless Roll?
Yeah. I concede the fact that it wasn't my original idea. I thought I was being original when I created the Endless Roll.
Back to our no new ideas under the sun.
No new ideas. So I was like, oh, well, somebody else did it. I have my own design. Cool. But the fact that not only did they take pretty close to my design, then called it the exact same name. Like, let's be fucking honest. It's funny. That's the one thing I did want to talk about. We didn't get around to it. Is this whole past week, one thing after another, just people biting my shit. People posting my photos without photo credit, claiming that it's their own. Fucking stuff like that. People taking my designs like all week, just one right after the other. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, fuck you to Choke Republic. You can go ahead and tell them I said that because I called them out.
Should I burn the shirt that I have from them?
Yeah, burn it. Go ahead, burn it. Boycott it. Shove it up your ass for all I give a fuck. They already got your money.
You already got my money.
But thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for everyone that's been reaching out and giving us your compliments on the podcast. We really appreciate it. It does mean a lot to us because we have a lot of fun doing this stuff. Even when you hear us getting heated, it's just all out of fun. Because what's the point of having a conversation if you can't piss each other off and then joke about it afterwards? You got anything to say?
No.
Say goodnight, Popo.
Good night.
Yeah, say goodnight, Popo. See you guys.
Later.
You can't
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff.
Get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine right, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.